Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. It is Thursday, May 14th. Do apologize. We're going to hop into U.S. weather from a national yield perspective. I do apologize for missing Tuesday. We had crop report, a lot going on that day. So again, apologize for that. We are going to pick up the with planting progress. Bit of old news, but we'd still like to cover it with a little more detail. So, Riley, what do we got going on here?
A lot of progress was made last week, unless you were in Ohio and even, well, pretty much just Ohio. Starting out corn planting progress overall at 5% ahead of average. I think that's the key in all of this is stuff is running ahead of average. States to be watching, Ohio. Originally, people were nervous. They've been too wet. That's been slowing them down. Talking with guys that are in that area this week, there's spots here and there where guys are starting to roll again. So planning progress, we're watching that eastern belt and then up north in the Dakotas. It's been so cold up there. They're getting enough heat now, though, over the next 10 days where I think a lot of progress will be made.
Yeah, and even look at South Dakota. I mean, you're 53 versus 43, 25 versus 20. So you're still even there. And the worst place is slightly ahead. Iowa, 72%, Nebraska, 67, 66. Again, this is, Monday's report, and it's been pretty well dry there. So I think all of that, there's going to be a lot of this completely buttoned up by the weekend.
Yeah. Talking with guys around the state of Iowa, I think corn as of right now would be 95% planted, a few stragglers, but for the most part, everybody's got it in the ground. And beans, there's some chances of rain coming for everyone that we're going to get into here in a little bit. But that's not coming until Friday, Saturday. And I think everybody has the thought in mind to be completely done by that time.
Yeah.
So definitely crop getting it stuck in the ground in a reasonable time. Looking back at my calendar, yeah, it doesn't say June yet. So crops getting stuck in at a good time. So beans have kind of wrapped it all into one, running really far ahead. Similar thing there. I'm not going to spend any more time. So what's new? 1 to 5 day temperatures. We actually got some heat in the forecast. So guys that have crops planted and they're wanting to get it out of the ground, this is what they need. Going all the way up to the north, at least upper 60s to low 70s. And as you're looking into Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, temperatures in the 80s to upper 70s. And that's what the doctor ordered. So where warm temperatures not very welcome right now, Nebraska, they are begging for rains right now. And
Western Kansas.
Yes. So am I going to say that it's a absolute disaster though? No. Does 86 degrees cause a crop failure? No. So little warmer temperatures, and I would say as a whole, it is more appreciated than underappreciated. So 6 to 10 day was originally at the beginning of the week looking warmer as well, but they've backed this off pretty significantly. Temperatures in the 60s to 70s, the one thing to really keep your eye on, North Dakota in the 50s. So anybody that is putting crop in the ground, I haven't seen lows that are going to be below freezing yet, but that's what we need to watch on that side of the forecast. So one thing that I do have different this week, drought monitor map. I have last week's here first. I want everybody to pay attention to eastern Nebraska, a little bit here in Iowa, as well as in the Delta. As we flip to the new one, you can see adding some color in Nebraska. Iowa is starting to have more yellow stretch across the state. And as you look down in the Delta, some more red stretching across into Mississippi, and Arkansas is just continuing to be a bloodbath down there. I was always told red is dead, and they're still red. So drought monitor map showing a lot of color, and definitely one thing that's keeping this market uplifted a little bit for a lot of the grains and oil seeds are the drought scare is a real thing that people are looking at. So moving ahead here, last 2 weeks of rainfall, Ohio, Indiana, the states that we mentioned are trying to catch up on planning. they've had some rains, and it hasn't been a large amount. It's just been enough that consistent enough to keep them out of the field. So overall, I think the entire country is at a spot now where we're looking for rains, and we're in the mentality of rain makes grain from a market standpoint. So any rain in the forecast will be good for the producers, bad for the markets, and vice versa. If there's no rain in the forecast, it's probably going to be having an impact on what the markets are thinking about the crop size.
Yeah, particularly, I mean, you think about last year's massive crop, and we had a lot of acres in the Dakotas planted, and, they were getting, significantly above normal rainfall there in southern Minnesota. So there's a lot of that area that is not seeing the rainfall that we were getting last year. It's still early in the game, but those probably from a national yield perspective at this point in time have my attention the most.
Yep. And the one thing I do want to point out too, with those states being so dry, North Dakota, South Dakota are usually large prevent plant states. So part of them being dry is we could potentially be loading up on acres again. However, if they never get the rain, it's going to be a struggle for them. But if the rains do come, we could be looking at a large acre number again, because they're having the window right now to get it stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
So moving ahead, 1 to 5 day precip. I mentioned there's some small rains in the forecast. South Dakota is definitely the region that needs this rain the most. Nebraska isn't looking to get any, so I can't include them. Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana. Amounts are not looking very big, but it does look to be covering a good amount of area in a spotty way. So
yeah, and you're just trying to limp it along. Like, you don't need 3 inches of rain here. You got an inch of rain. I mean, that's ideal right now. And you always run into this time of year. I remember when I first got in the industry, it was like, you can't win. Once the crop gets up, if it rains, then market goes down because it's raining. And if it doesn't rain, they tell you, well, it's good for root development, and we're and we're going to go down anyway. So inch of rain there, I'm watching like the Dakotas and southern Minnesota. I know the Dakotas would love a 3-inch soaker, but northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, perfect. Limp it along, wait for the next one.
Absolutely. So 6 to 10 day, this is something that has gotten wetter. Texas looking to get a big amount of rain, and you don't think of corn, you think Texas, but the reality is there are a lot of crops grown down there. So those regions that are in drought concerns, getting a 3 to 4 inch rain, like you mentioned, those are the regions that really want it. So I'm not putting a ton of stock in this because it is the 6 to 10 day, but across the Delta, including those really dry regions of Arkansas, Oklahoma, a lot of wheat country to go with it. Looking to get some rains, and I don't know, Clint, is this something that's going to solve the drought monitor map? I'm going to say most likely not, but like you mentioned, it can help drag things along a little bit.
Yeah.
So 6 to 10 day though, we're going to have to really watch and see if that does come to the front of the forecast. So putting it all together, when you look at it like this, there's a lot of places to get chances of rain, but the one thing I really want to point out is how spotty it looks. So I think there's going to be people that get hit very well and get rains that they want and need, and there's going to be places that get missed and are maybe a little upset. So from a national yield perspective though, Clint, I see that much color, and we're looking from May 14th to May 27th. I would call this very beneficial on that 1 to 13 day.
Tend to agree, Riley. Appreciate you putting it all together. Again, Clint McLaughlin, Riley Sykard, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be on here next week, let you know how we get started. Take care.
This material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets, capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.